The longevity of Animorphs is so crazy to me. You know, it was like 2 seasons when I was a teenager.
Yeah.
But, you know, I think at that time there wasn't a lot of kind of mature sci-fi in mainstream media, like as far as television and films. Like when I say mature, I just mean like aimed towards kids, but not super goofy. Don't get me wrong. There was some goofy stuff about Animorphs, mostly the effects and the technology at the time. But like these kids were like in peril and were like fighting for their lives and fighting to save the world. And it's had a really lasting effect. And I'm always amazed when people are like, I knew you from Animorphs. I'm like, wow. We were like in a bubble up in Toronto shooting the show, and it kind of came and went, but it had an impact, which is cool.
It is wild because I watched an episode last night because you can like find it on YouTube. And I was like, how much of this show do I remember? And I was like, oh, all of it. Like, well.
Oh, that's crazy. Yeah, that's cool. Well, awesome.
It is great. Like, I feel like that show is something that should be rebooted or revived in some kind of way.
100%. There were rumors for a while, again, on Twitter, but it was from kind of reliable sources, like people in the industry, that Universal was talking about rebooting it as a film series. I think it's ripe for a redo. I think the technology's at a better place, you know, and again, it walks that fine line for like YA sci-fi, you know, where it can be fun and it's young kids, you know, again, with Stranger Things and Lock and Key and all these kind of shows on Netflix where, you know, you're putting these like younger kids in these really intense situations and it's doing well. Like, why not? Well, or a film, like I can imagine like a film series, you know, but yeah, like a new TV show on Amazon or Netflix or something. I think it could be very cool.
Would you want to be a part of it if that happens? I feel
like 100%.
Yeah.
100%. I think it was about a year ago. There was like this discussion on Twitter that I kind of like checked out, and I started thinking, it's like, well, who would I want to play, or what could the role be? And it's like either like an older Jake, so like, you know, like whatever, because that's what I ideally would want to do, is like actually play Jake again, but like an older version, whether it was like a flashback or a prelude or whatever, a prologue or something. I was thinking of like Stand By Me. You know, like the prologue where it, you know, it's like the character's talking about his past and then it like goes into it. So it would be cool to revisit that. And I think some actors try to like steer away from their past or the things that people recognize it from. I don't look at it like that. Like I'm thankful for all those things, and they all helped give me a career, and they're all characters that people still seem to like and are attached to and have good memories about. So to me, I don't know, I think it'd be kind of fun.
Yeah, I love that you said that because I have so many lingering questions for you over the years that I want to get to.
Okay.
But let's jump into the free fall. So I watched this movie last night, and it was almost hard to write questions for it because I was like, I want people to go into this blind. Like, I don't want to give anything away. But how do you kind of describe what this movie is about?
In broad strokes, the movie is about a character named Sarah who, after attempting to take her own life, comes to in her home with no recollection of her life in the past. But her husband, Nick, is right there. So this is a film that's a bit of a mystery. You know, it's definitely a psychological thriller, but really the story is told through Sarah's perspective, trying to piece together her life after this tragic event. And yeah, again, I'd say if you like psychological thrillers and mysteries, this is a film for you. Nick, the character I play, is Sarah's husband who's just trying to get his wife back. You know, like from his perspective, he's trying to connect again, create the intimacy, and communicate to her how the great life that they had, the love that they had before this event. That's the film on the surface.
Yeah.
Underneath, there's much, much more. And again, I don't want to get into too many spoilers, but the thing that I loved about the script and also this character is that Nick has like a dark side. And so I liked the ambiguity that the character requires. So you're not really quite sure, you know, what his motivations are, and also the sort of like laying the breadcrumbs for the story and for the mystery, because that's really what it was. When I was reading it for the first time, I was like, what is happening here? Like, on the surface, it's this one movie, but in the script, and I hope in the film, there's this undercurrent of something that's really potentially wrong. And you're not sure if Sarah is so discombobulated from the tragic event that happened that she isn't seeing the world clearly, or if she is completely right and something is totally off. So that's kind of the fun of the film, is like trying to discover what the truth is.
That's the thing too, is I really dug the movie, by the way, but you play the tension throughout the movie. Like, you are that kind of role? What was that like for you, just to tap into that part?
Amazing. I read the script and I sat down with Adam Stillwell, the director, and he also developed the script after its sort of initial state. And I told him, I was like, I need to play this character, and I never say that when I go into a meeting. I'm like, I'm confident, I try and sell myself, but I was like, I need to play this role. You need to cast me, because I loved the character and I loved, again, the ambiguity, but also, I could so clearly see in my brain how I wanted to play this character. And again, he may do things that aren't right, but his intentions to me were pure. And I don't mean pure like good, but I mean, I knew exactly what he wanted. He's trying to win this woman back. He has a hole in himself that he's trying to fill. And so when he professes his love and tells her that he needs her, like, he means all of that. It's not necessarily in the way that maybe the audience suspects, but like he manipulates her, yes, to get something that he really needs, but he means it. When he breaks down and cries and says, I can't lose you again, I need you, he means that. It's so pure and real. So like, that's my thing. I'm like, besides whatever the reveal is and whatever the mystery is, I know he's telling the truth to her in a way, and that's the ambiguity. It's like, he's not lying to her most of the time, but he's withholding truth. And films like this, I like that when you watch it initially, you don't know what truth you're looking for. And so you miss the truth. But I hope on a second viewing, if people go back and they're like, oh, there's this reveal, they'll see that the truth was there the whole time. They just didn't know what truth they were looking for. And that was the goal for me. And I think for Adam and Andrea, was to like tell it truthfully while still sort of allowing the mystery to exist.
And there's kind of this element of just behind the scenes, like, I've watched you like my whole life, like, Animorphs, like we mentioned, Cadet Kelly in a heartbeat. Love that show, would love to get into that. But it's like, I feel like I knew you. So I'm like, okay, I'm watching Shawn Ashmore. He's this great guy. He's leading man, but so it kind of has this like unsettling thing where you're like, this guy, I know him. Like, I don't know if that makes sense.
No, it does. It does. Well, but that's, again, part of the manipulation and the fun and the expectation, right? And that's why I don't tend to get to play characters like this, like with the darker side. Like, you sort of, as an actor, you sort of establish a career. And like you said, like, I see you as this, I see an actor playing this. But the fun of it is to like break out of that. And again, I was like, I know I can play this character. Like, I like doing this. And Lamplighter from The Boys, which is another character I played like a couple years ago, was also in that sort of vein where it's like, he's not a bad guy, but he's a more complex guy. There's more going on. It's a little ambiguous, like what his motivations are, and he's making, he's not the leading man. He's making selfish decisions. And I think that's what Nick does. He makes selfish decisions. He's not thinking about anybody else. He's making decisions for himself. And in that way, it's like, I don't see him as a bad guy or evil. I didn't play it like that. I just was like, he's making decisions for himself. So, but I know what you're saying. It's like, you have an expectation of what kind of role I would play. So then when you see it and it's different, you're like, whoa, this is bizarre. Like, it's someone I know that is now, it's almost more unsettling because you feel like you're comfortable in what this person is going to do or how the character is going to go, and then it goes somewhere else. You're like, whoa, this is bizarre. So I get that. And that expectation was partly why I wanted to play a character like this, and certainly why I did The Boys. I was like, oh yeah, like, I'm going to play Pyro. I'm Iceman and everyone thinks I'm Iceman, but I'm going to play Pyro. Like, that's going to like throw everybody off. And that expectation, and I think that's what The Boys does so well too, is play with that expectation. But that's fun for me. I like those characters. I like doing that for people.
I'd love to ask you about Iceman since you brought him up, because normally I'd do an interview and I'd probably be like, so do you think you'd ever play Iceman again?
Yeah.
Knowing it's a bit of a clickbait question, right?
Sure.
But now, I don't know if you've been keeping up with current Marvel events. It is just like anything is possible.
Yeah.
So now that's a real question.
Yeah, I haven't seen the newest Spider-Man movie, but I know that, like, I'm trying not to get it spoiled, but I know that everybody from everywhere comes, and it's like, yeah. After Days of Futures Past, I had kind of accepted like that was going to be our last film. But this group of actors, anyway. I mean, Disney was taking over the rights. It felt like the end. For our characters anyways, the original trilogy cast. It felt kind of like the end of the story. And I've kind of accepted that, but obviously anything's possible. And I have no idea what they're going to do. Are they going to cast completely new actors and start fresh? Are they going to pull actors from the Fox X-Men trilogy into the Marvel universe? Like, I don't know. If it happened, would I do it? 100%. Like, no question. I grew up playing that character. I'm a comic book fan. Like, it's things that I'm into. So I would do it again in a second, but I've kind of accepted the fact that I got 4 movies and that might be it. And I'm pretty happy with that.
Right. So it'd be a bonus if it were to come up.
100%. Yeah, it would be fantastic. But like, I have no expectations.
Amazing. I didn't even get to In a Heartbeat, but I just want to say that I loved that show. It was like my favorite. And there was the second episode, the tarantula episode, ruined my life. Terrible. So scary.
Yeah, all these shows. I had quite a run, like Animorphs into In a Heartbeat, into Cadet Kelly. I had like a real like Nickelodeon Disney moment in my late teens, early 20s, because I think I was definitely maybe 19 or 20 when I shot Cadet Kelly. So.
You look the same. It's like,
yeah, it's weird. I'll be 43 in October, and I mean, I don't think I look the same. Like if you do, but yeah, I mean, I put sunscreen on, I stay out of the sun. Like that's my thing, got some wrinkles, my hair's going away, but basically I'm the same person.
The funny thing is, when I was younger, I didn't even know you were a twin. So I was really like, this man is in everything.
The busiest actor in Hollywood.
Well,
yeah, we get that a lot.
Thank you so much for your time. The Free Fall is out on January 14th. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Take care.